Welcome to our What's Working call, you guys. I have two quick announcements, and then I'm going to hand it over to our host for the night, which is Ashley Lasher. First announcement is this Wednesday night, TLC, so like my grandma coach, Leslie Cortez, and Anita Myron and somebody else is hosting a sneak peek into coaching, and it's a Zoom. And it's at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So no matter if you signed up today or if you signed up 5 years ago, invite people to learn more about the coaching opportunity. That's all you have to do. They're going to cover everything in that Zoom, so that you just have to invite and then follow up with the people who join. If you're doing your own thing, totally cool. Use this as an opportunity to do your own sneak peek, to do your own event, to partner up with somebody. But I'm just going to piggyback off of Leslie because it's way less work for me. So feel free to use that event. And if they're not free at 9 p.m., then you can send them the recording the next day. That was number one. And number two, time to start thinking about the New Leader Conference. So what this is, it's like truly one of my favorite events that Beachbody has, like better than Summit. So for those of you that came back with the Summit high, it's like a whole nother level because the New Leader Conference is exclusively for leaders in this business when you hit 1-star diamond, and you only get invited once. So you can only go once the year that you qualify for it. And it's the first time that corporate really treats you like a leader and gives you leadership training. So it's not anymore of this like how to grow your Instagram, which we always want to know because the algorithm changes, but it's like truly like how to mentor your coaches, how to find working coaches, all of that good stuff. So start thinking about New Leader Conference. I was on a call with Keisha Fitzgerald today, who's an awesome coach in the network. And she is like, I totally believe that every single Emerald right now can get to 1-star by the qualification, which is November 21st. You have to lock it in by then. And even if you're not Emerald, you can totally hit that if it's one of your goals. So again, you need to lock it in by November 21st, and I believe hold for 6 weeks after that. So keeping that in mind, that 1-star is when you are diamond and you have 1 diamond underneath you. Keeping in mind that can be your spouse, your significant other, your mom, your dad, your sister, anything like that. You can actually grow them. Ideally, it is another coach that wants to work with you, which is why we're inviting to the sneak peek on Wednesday night. Any other updates that you can think of? No, but I feel like I'm at the front of the room and like I have to be because I'm next to you. To meet my roomie for 6 weeks. All right, Ash, take it away for what's working.
Hey guys. So I feel like it took me a while to come up with a few different tips just because I feel like I always share the same things with you guys. So I kind of came up with a few that have been recently working for me, especially in terms of sharing the new program, the MM100. And so my first thing, not only have I noticed it working for me, but I've noticed a lot to other coaches as well, is the balance of sharing the workout video on your Instagram stories, just like little clips of it. And then also one big thing I've been utilizing is saying that I'm looking for those that are ready to commit to 100 workouts. Or I kind of worded it committing to 100 workout challenge. Something that way, just because I do have some people who see the workout video too and they're like, wow, that's way too hard for me or too complicated. So that way you're kind of attracting both people that would love to do the morning meltdown, but then you also can start a conversation based on that, but also maybe provide them something else as well. So that's my first thing. Number 2 is giving options to join. So I know we always, even though a challenge pack is the best, best deal, best option, you're getting the full package, I like to give options to join as well. So I have a visual. I'll actually share it with you guys real quick. Some of my coaches have seen it. I think I've shared it with Sam too. Can you guys see this? Okay, cool. So I have this little visual. It always depends on how the conversation's going, but I do, when I am giving them the options, I share this, but when I'm sharing it, I also tell them like, hey, based on your goals, option 6 right now is $20 off. So I always lead it with something in that that term based off of what their goals are. So I go through the conversation the same exact way we normally do. You get to know them, you get to know what their goals are. And then usually they'll be like, okay, how do I join? That's when I will send something like this. And then depending on what their goals are, if they say that they don't want shakes or something like that, then I won't tell them, option 6 is the best package. I'll go with something else. But if it seems like, that would be the best, I will say, here are the options to join, but option 6 is the best option because so-and-so. That way they have that visual of, okay, there are these different options, but, she's saying this one's the best one. Maybe that's the best one for me. So I have that. Let me stop sharing now. Can you share this image with us? Yes, I'll give it to you guys after this call too. And then, so with that too, I've noticed that it's been easier for me to get points as well because I'm giving them that full, that full list of options rather than just leading with a challenge pack, because then they're seeing that, maybe just Shakeology is 130 when they can get that full package for $30 more. Or if it's on sale, only, $10 more. And they get that full year of bod too and other things as well. So they visually can see that. And I've noticed that a lot of people are picking the package option just based off of that reason. So that's one major thing that's also working for me. And then also I just wanted to sharing more than just fitness, just because I've noticed, sometimes a lot of coaches, you get into it where fitness, it just becomes a part of your life. It's, working out and, trying to eat better. And that's what we always want to share. But I think we forget to share everything else too. Share things that you love that's outside of fitness. And sometimes people will say to me, well, my life is boring. I don't really have anything. But there's always something. Reading. That's not boring if it's something that you love to do. Listening to music, dancing around, that could be something. Riding horses. That's another thing. Like anything that you love doing, spending time with your kids, share those other things too, and don't just always make it about fitness. That's one major thing that always works for me, because then you can utilize those things in your Instagram stories too. I love polls. I think Sam shared this the other day of just asking people their take on anything, like how they like their coffee, maybe what color, if they like it, tan or black or this color, yellow, blue, I don't know. Anything like that, where people just love to give their advice no matter what. Like I know when I'm scrolling through and somebody's asking anything and I'm like, oh, I want to answer that. No matter what it is, whether I like it or not, I always want to give my advice. And I feel like that's how everyone is. So anything that you can just start engagement or conversation, that's why it's really, really good to share everything else as well. And then that's how they're going to connect with you too, because then, they're going to want to ask you about what you're doing with your fitness, and they're going to see that stuff, and it's just going to naturally bring up that conversation. And then my last thing is a major thing, because it's only until the end of July, is to make sure you guys are utilizing those codes that you all got in your email. Everyone has gotten at least 3 codes, $10 off. Utilize that in your stories. Talk about it. Share that you only have 2 promo codes to give away to people to get $10 off of joining your virtual gym or your challenge group. Talk about it in a post. Just share those things. Or even better yet, I think Sam said this the other day too, is to message people that you've talked about. Maybe they didn't have enough money at that time, or something with finances, we're holding them back. Message those people privately and tell them about this promo code that you have and you want to share it with them. I feel like that's the best way for me, is private messages too, rather than always just publicly posting about a deal or a sale, just because it hardly ever works for me either. But having that one-on-one conversation with somebody is the best that works for me anyways. But definitely utilize those. They are only good until the end of July, I believe. But that is everything that is working for me currently. Is there anybody else that has anything that they want to share? Open it up to everyone. Ooh, I like that, Deed. Deed said she's going to start saying, I only have the code for 24 hours to create that sense of urgency. I love that. Anybody have anything that is working for them with the new program coming out?
I have something. So it's kind of the same thing that Ashley said, but showing myself doing the workouts. And I think it's only working so well for me because it's a brand new program, but people just, they see me doing it, and they also, I show the modifications too, and I get so many messages, which this never happens, but so many messages saying, tell me more, and I didn't even reach out to them. Or I love the modifications, I didn't know those existed. So just showing me doing them in my stories. Oh, and I also went live opening my box on Instagram, or like Instagram, what's that called? It's not stories.
IGTV?
It was live, and then I uploaded it to my IGTV, and 2 people came to me that way. So I think just like people want to be part of this brand new thing. So just show that you're jumping on the bandwagon too. So I have other tips too, but that's working for me for Mourning Meltdown.
I think actually, since you said that, Gretchen, I recently had one of my coaches ask me about the unboxing. She asked me my advice because she is in this, social media, just free training thing online. And they were talking about how basically that you shouldn't do the unboxing because then people can go Google it and get it somewhere else or whatnot. And I told her I kind of do the balance of both, of curiosity and saying I'm doing what I'm doing. So I kind of want to see what your guys' take on that is too.
So I made sure in my unboxing to be throwing in little pieces throughout the whole thing. I think it was like 8 minutes long, about the accountability group and like about why they should be part of my group. It wasn't just, oh, and this is the meals and these are the, nutrition plan, whatever it is. I kept saying like, we have a whole group starting. It's an accountability group. And so I tried to make it sound like this is something that you can join with us. It's not just something on your own. That's what I did.
That's really good. Yeah. Selling yourself, not Beachbody.
Mm-hmm. I'm no expert, but I actually went live and did my unboxing in my own virtual gym. And I have like a ton of people who like just stopped showing up like, I don't know, a few months ago. And I actually had like 5 people sign up like VIP early access. And one of them even turned into a coach because she wants a discount. And I've just created so much FOMO in my event, like in my actual group, just from the unboxing, I think. And it's kind of just like, well, this person's doing it, so now I'm going to do it. And it's just kind of unraveled and I don't know, kind of exciting. This is what I've had happening.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea because I think sometimes we forget that we have past clients too that would love to do these current, or new programs coming out or new supplements, all of that. And we forget to also keep them in the loop as well because sometimes we're always trying to, help new people. So that's a really good idea. Anybody else have any tips? Anything that's working for you? Or even not working?
So I did a couple of things. One thing that's been working for me is instead of sending out so when I get a new follower, instead of sending out my intro message, I've just been going to their stories if they have a story and commenting on that, just something random, just to start like the connection, or a post. And then I'll wait a few days before I invite them or do anything coaching wise, because I feel like sometimes if I send the intro message and I'm like, this is what I do, da 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 da, they're like, ew, don't respond anyways. I mean, some people respond still, but I feel like I've been starting more conversations that can lead into what I do that way than I was beforehand with the intro message. So that's just working for me personally. And then another thing I did in the last 3 carts that I've sent. So one of them is checked out. I'm waiting on the other 2 still. So we'll see if it works, but it worked for me last month and it worked again this time. Was I just kind of went through the conversation per normal. And before I told them what anything costs, what I'm recommending, I'm just like, can I get your email so I can send you a link with all of my recommendations? So that's what I did for all 3 carts. And then I would make the cart up. And before I sent them the link, I would go through and I would just explain each thing that I recommended. So I put the collagen in for everybody because I was like, this is a new product. I'm super excited about it. I just made an IGTV you can go look at. Totally not necessary, but just something extra. So and then even like one person, I don't even remember what she said that made me think to put like a couple of apparel pieces in. I was like, I just bought this sports bra and I really love it. Just something to look at. And then at the end, I was like, you by no means need to get any of this. This is, if I were you, this is what I would get baseline. Everything else is just extra. feel free to shop around. And the girl that was going to do it, she was just going to get, I recommended her UPF because she said she didn't want workouts. And she was like, I ended up going and looking at MM100 again, and I'm going to do it. And she bought MM100 with Shakeology, and then she bought the Collagen Boost and Energize. So that worked for me. I'm still waiting on the other 2 links to get back to me still, but.
I love that. See, I would never even think of putting apparel in there as
well, especially because it's new, then people can go look at it too.
Yeah.
People love to shop for that shit.
That's a really good idea. I do like that.
That's all I've got.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have some stuff. Good job, Katie. That sounded amazing. I have one thing about Mourning Meltdown, just probably super simple that most of you guys are doing, but every single time I work out in the morning, I'm doing Mourning Meltdown or something similar like Quarter Force. And then I have this graphic that shows which people have used the promo codes. And I put that up with their names. And then the next slide is like, let's put your name up here with the questions thing. And I say, send me a cartwheel emoji if you want in. And one person sent me the cartwheel. So that's been awesome. Normally I don't get people from that, but it worked because I think I've been doing it every single day. So people are seeing that. So that worked. And then one thing that's been working for me in terms of like adding new people to my network and then having them actually follow me back is I've just been following and not doing anything right away, like in terms of liking and commenting, but I'll wait until they come up my feed and then I'll start genuinely commenting in their on their photos. But I have been trying really hard lately to just like share so much value and content that can be helpful, because I think I was getting in a rut where I would share like just a quote or like I was getting too far into the like not health and fitness part where I was just like sharing my life, where it was just like all fun and games. But I've really been digging deep into my story and like why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I'm fitting it into my schedule and just sharing it. And even if they're long posts, I used to get nervous about sharing really long posts, but if people are my tribe and they want to see what I'm all about and they've been watching for this long, they're going to read what you have to say. And more people have been following me this week back than I have in the last couple of weeks. So I think it's because I'm sharing content that actually matters to me, and I think that other people too, and then just commenting genuinely on other people's posts. I've also been really intentional on who I'm following lately, so making sure that I have genuine interest in this person. A lot of the people I've been following lately have been former rugby players because I know that I'll share that common interest with them. So I think, yeah, going back to following people because you really do think that you connect with them on a friendship level is really important. And Sam said this the other day, but I think I don't know where we got it, but what was I going to say? Oh, finding good people, like actual genuinely good people, and what was the verbiage, forming them into something else. What was it, Sam? I love that quote. Do you remember?
It was like everyone always asks how to find working coaches, and the tip was just find good people and form them into a good coach, or molds them into a good coach. Groom them.
Yeah, groom them. Because, I mean, one of the coolest parts about the opportunity is that we can pick our coworkers and pick our squad, and it really is so true. And so if you really find people that you vibe with and you build those genuine connections with them, they're going to join you eventually. I'm like on a tangent right now, so that's all I have for right now.
No, that's good stuff. I love that you said that too, because I get the question all the time, like, how do I find working coaches? And it's not really finding them, just like Sam said too. And you said, I mean, if Sam just found me, I definitely was not a working coach or even a good working coach at that time either. So you kind of just learn as you go and grow that way. Any other good tips from anyone?
I have two. So one tip, I started saying it at the beginning of this call / end of the call before this, but in terms of having conversations, what's been working really well for me forever, if someone said that they were interested, I would say, great. That whole script that I'm sure you all know, I run accountability groups where I help my friends and family get set up with workouts and meal plans, that whole paragraph. And sometimes they would respond, but most of the time they wouldn't. So now what I'm doing, if they say they're interested or yes, they're on a journey, I just go right in for asking questions like, awesome, what goals are you working towards? Then I say just like, would you be interested in the workouts? Would you also be interested in nutrition or just the workouts? And so just really no script at all and just asking the questions that I need the answers to build them a share cart. And it's been going so well. I mean, I'm not even pushing for challenge packs, and everyone's getting a challenge pack just because they want the bundles. So that's been working really well, just asking questions. And then the other thing, it's actually working really well for my other Instagram account, not yet my Coach Greta Piper one, but it's working so well that I'm starting to transition that to my Coach Greta Piper. So pretty much I've had this other account for about a year. I started it last June, and I've never used any like third party like Fiverr or anything to grow it. And I have 4,800 followers, and on almost every post I have like 30 or so comments. So I think what's working though is just that I'm asking questions. I'm adding value and asking questions in every single post, which is not something I do for Coach Greta Piper, because in my mind, Coach Greta Piper, no one responds anyways, like no one comments, so why even bother? So I just started doing that this week, so I'm only 3 days in. And I got like 8 comments the other day, which is good for me because literally no one ever responds. But it's just going so well for this other account that I'm just going to stay with it and just keep adding value, even if it's just something small. I'm trying to think of a good example, because often the post might not be anything about like any value. It might just be something fun, but then I'll say, pro tip, if it's hot outside today, have watermelon, some like random thing. So I'll keep you posted, but that's working really well for my one account.
And I think another reason why she's grown to almost 5,000 followers in a year is because that other account is so specific. It's for, if you guys don't know, it's for people with multiple sclerosis. I always like stumble over that word. For MS. And I remember before she started it, she had a couple friends that were like, you're pigeonholing yourself. You should really do all physical therapy, not just people who want PT, who have MS. And she was like, but this is the population I want to serve. And it's a very narrow market, but those people are flocking to her because it is so specific. So I know we hear this a lot, but we hear like, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. This is a perfect example of that. She's literally just talking to people with MS. And that means she's getting all the participation and engagement from that. So for me, the way I'm applying that is part of my target market is emotional eaters. And I used to think like, the people who can't, like, Greta and I couldn't be more different in that aspect. And I will share some stories and she's like, you literally had that mindset and like crazy stuff. And so I'm like, it doesn't relate to everybody, but I'm just opening up more about that because I know the people that do struggle with that in a heartbeat can relate to exactly what I'm saying. So don't be afraid to really dive into who you really want to work with.
And I also remember Anita Myron telling me once that and I don't follow her, so I don't know if this is true or not, but what she was saying is every other post is engagement. It's like value, engagement. And when it was like 2 years ago, and I remember thinking like, but no one's going to comment. So I never actually took that into practice, but she's a super successful coach too. So we'll see.
That actually, I was just thinking that actually will get your numbers up for everything too. Your follows, your likes, all of that, the more engagement you have too. And the more people will see your stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I heard another tip regarding the whole engagement thing is that your post should get the most engagement, or it'll do better if it gets engagement within like the first 15 minutes and then the first hour.
but try and think of creating savable content. You know how you can like save a post with that bookmark? You want to think of creating savable content. So even if it's just like another coach literally just types out the exercises that she did, and that's her value, people save it because they want to do that workout at home. So with Gretchen's like pro tips is the people can save that. And so the more your posts get saved, it's apparently supposed to help. I also save my own immediately. Not sure if that works, but I'm like, I like my post and I'll save it immediately. And then as soon as somebody comments, I comment back on every single comment, even if they're just like, love it. I always try and do forwards. I'm like, thank you so much for your support or something, just to try and double the number of comments that's on
I think that's a great tip. Creating savable content. That
And
really
that's
makes you think.
Do you guys know who Brock Johnson is?
Who?
Brock Johnson, Shalene Johnson's son.
Oh,
like The Rock, yes.
Am I cutting out?
you were a little bit, but I think you're good now.
Okay, so he's like an Instagram guru, for lack of a better description. And he sent out an email yesterday about like the new algorithm of Instagram. And basically what he was talking about, that in the way that Instagram is working now is that to get the best exposure on your posts and for more people to find your page and post, am I cutting out?
Nope.
Is to have more people who are saving and sharing your actual posts. That likes and comments doesn't really matter anymore. And so the more that he's recommending, the more that, let me see, I wrote down what he said. So when you're creating a post on Instagram, he's recommending, like, is this post worthy enough for someone to send to their friends? The more that somebody posts your physical post onto their stories is going to increase the more views for you as well. So that, and the whole like being able to revisit your post as well. And he's also saying that like Photoshopped and like pretty picture don't really matter so much anymore, as much as it does your content and the fact that somebody is saving your shit.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why my Dr. Gretchen page is successful, because I get a ton, and again, it's so specific, it's multiple sclerosis, but I have so many people saving my posts. I'm trying to see, like I did one, I get anywhere from like 10 to 60 saves per post because there's a tip in every single one. Doesn't happen to my Coach Greta Piper, but for that one it does. We'll see.
So I'm just trying to read the comments. Maybe we can give incentives for our followers to share with their followers. That's a good idea. I just saw something yesterday that said that Instagram is thinking of getting rid of likes altogether for mental health reasons. Isn't it kind of crazy that like our world has come to that? You know, this just blows my mind.
They're doing that in Canada.
Are they?
Yeah, I don't think the coach because she sent me a screenshot once and it said this, and I saw it on the Today Show, they are saying and others. So you know how it'll say like Lauren, like who are the mutual friends, and 10 others or 100 others. They're just going to say and others. So you have no idea how many likes it has.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that before.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I've noticed that too with hashtags. Like when I'm going to add hashtags, it doesn't tell me anymore how many people have used it. It'll just say your current followers that are also following it. Oh, really? Yeah.
Mine still says it. I wonder if that's something that they're.
It goes back and forth for me. Sometimes it does, other times it doesn't.
Huh.
I have another tip.
Okay.
So I think thinking back to however you got signed up is so important, because I signed up by finding Sam and filling out her questionnaire. And so I always refer people to the link in my bio, like almost not every post, but I do it a lot. And I'll sometimes even just put the actual link in my posts. And 2 people that signed up with me this month were from that. So I had reached out to them in the past. I had invited them, but they ghosted me. And then they saw the link and filled it out, and then they signed up. So I think going back to however you signed up, and like whether it was invited, like you got invited a million times, think about how many times it took you to get invited to actually sign up, and keep inviting people. Or if you filled out a questionnaire, send people to that. Or I don't know. I think that going back to the reason why is really important, because your people are probably going to sign up the same way.
That's so true. I'm glad you said that too, because even just recently, I had one of my coaches say to me, they were so frustrated because this person isn't signing up because of this reason. And I always say to them, like, think back of, what it was when you signed up, because normally the thing that they're getting frustrated is the same thing that they did to sign up. So I think that's such a good idea to think back and relate to them on that. Shit, now I got to become a Beachbody Live instructor. Anybody else have any tips? I feel like we've had.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So I've just been doing a little bit more of my relationship. Like I've been posting more about my husband and I, and the engagement has been like crazy on the posts with my husband and I. So the other night I did one like the day I came home from Indy, and just like talking about, like finally being home, and it got like an insane amount. Then I did one the other night just about like taking a date night, like a weekly date night. And so many people are commenting back and like messaging me like, oh, I take a date night like once a month. We take one once a week. Like, so I think just maybe for me, it was like getting back to like, real life, and not, like you said, not all about health and, fitness and wellness stuff. And just like for people to see like that you're a real person and you might need to work on things too,
What was the first thing that you said?
Did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out.
Sorry, I'm getting phone calls, so it's coming through here at the same time. I was just saying how I was sharing how we take like a weekly date night, or like I did a post when I first came home from Indy, like finally like being home, and it got a lot of engagement on it. And it was just a simple picture, but it was like, finally being home, like where I belong or something like that. And it was a picture of my husband and I. And a lot of people like commented and liked on it. So
Yes, what you just said too about that it's real life and we have things that we need to still work on too. I think that's so true, because like I'll do stories and Cody will do the most outrageous, stupid thing in the background, and I'm like, oh my God, I do not want people to see you doing that. But I post it anyways, and I always get the most comments, and they're always saying, oh, we need Cody on your stories every day. I'm like, okay. So anything that you think you shouldn't post, you probably should post it.
right.
One thing to add to that too, that's actually a tip that Sam gave me, because I think it was like 2 or 3 months back now. On mine and hers weekly call, I asked her, I was like, can you just look at my Instagram and just give me some feedback? Just let me know what you think. And she noticed, she said, you've been doing a lot of lifestyle posts, because I was trying to do more lifestyle, just like Dee was saying. And she was like, even if you do a lifestyle post, she's like, try to figure out how even in just one sentence in it, you can somehow relate it back to coaching or a challenge group or something. So I've been doing that, like even if it's a lifestyle post, most of the time, more often than not, I try to bring it back to that, or like plant that little seed somehow. And I think it has made a really big difference.
Yeah, good idea. I feel like even sometimes I forget to do that too. So I love hearing all these tips that you guys have.
Another tip. Just a quick one. The Legacy Collective is hosting a sneak peek, and if you guys aren't hosting your own sneak peeks, you should take full-blown advantage of that. I was hosting sneak peeks before with Sam or Katie, and I'm going to try this out and see what happens with this, and just like talk about the coaching opportunity like crazy until Wednesday night, like in my stories and in my feed, and all the things that I love about coaching, the community, how I'm held more accountable, all the things that I love. I have a whole list of like 20 things that I love about coaching, and you can just like refer back to that. And so, yeah, invite people to that sneak peek, because those ladies are super successful and they're going to say it like gold. So grow your team by using that sneak peek.
And I just add on to that quickly. For me, when I was a new coach, I would hear that it was happening Wednesday night and be like, oh my gosh, it's Monday night. I'm not prepared. I don't have all these things. And I want, if that's you and you're like, I can't do it, I'll catch the next one. There is so much power in urgency to join something. Like even now, if I don't do them anymore, but if I were to run like a free water challenge, I only promote it for like 2 days in advance, because people forget. Like if this event was next Wednesday, they would easily forget and not even join. And so the fact that it's Wednesday should be a hype up factor for you. So like Deed said, like talk about it nonstop, add some excitement to it, share what you love, share what you're excited to hear on that call. And the fact that it's over on Wednesday is awesome. Like say Wednesday night or recording on Thursday, that's it. So like get people in and excited now. And then, yeah, don't feel like you need all the answers before. Just talk about it and be excited about it.
The other thing I love about it is I heard it in one training, and it's to refer people to sneak peeks like that or trainings of other top coaches, because some people might get intimidated if they think that they have to host those webinars or if they have to make trainings of their own. And you'll see that it is a community and there are top coaches that can provide these trainings for you. You don't have to come right out of the gate and host your own trainings and host your own sneak peeks. So I think there's power in that too.
Any other last minute tips at all?
I have one more little tidbit I thought of. I've been sharing more of my personal development, so like whatever book I'm reading, because I have kind of been floating between a few. So I'll share either just the cover of it or like a line from it, or just like a little bit of like my journal. And I'm laughing at Dean, totally sorry. And I've been getting a lot of engagement in my stories where people are like, oh, what's that book? Or, oh, I've read that book, or I started that book, or what is this about? Like just little things. And then it's also a nice opening to like lead a conversation towards coaching and be like, oh yeah, it's part of what I do as a coach. Have you ever thought about it? Yada, yada. That's another thing.
That's a good idea. Anyone else? No? All right. Well, that was amazing. For only a little over 30 minutes, I feel like those were amazing tips. And also too, I just want to mention that if you are the type of person to get overwhelmed, don't think that you have to start all of these new things and implement them right away. Just pick one. Pick one and take action on it, because if you have this list and then you get overwhelmed, then you're never going to take action on any of them. I've done that before, especially going to an event like Summit. So many tips that you get, and then you just never take action on them. So just pick one, take action. If it works for you for a while, that's great. Keep doing it, and then maybe pick another one and then take action on that. So I just wanted to mention that. And that's it. Any last minute things from you, Sam?
I don't think so. Thank you, Ashley, for hosting and for everyone else hopping on. Oh, and I'll post the recording tomorrow morning for you to share with your teams.
Awesome. Wait, do we want to take a boomerang?
Yes. Thanks.
I always forget.
I'm always on my phone. You'd think I would remember, but
I know, right?
Reminder.
Everyone ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Gretchen.
What'd you do?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right. Well, you guys have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.